So good evening everyone. Today I'm gonna teach you some Dhamma teachings from a sutta, Satipaṭṭhāna Sutta. So the topic for today's talk is going to be the practice of right now within bracket Satipatthana and the consistent development of kusala thoughts go in tandem according to the Satipaṭṭhāna Sutta, which is in Majjhima Nikāya, number 10. So there are two Satipaṭṭhāna Suttas in the canon. Is anyone familiar with this sutta? Has anyone given a read about this sutta? Or just collect information from different teachers about the topic, Satipaṭṭhāna? You need to read if you can, Maybe not the whole thing, but maybe at least an abstract of what the sutta offers us. So in the Majjhima Nikāya, the sutta is number 10, and Deepening Nikāya has the longest version of this sutta, number 22. Don't worry about it. Majjhima Nikāya's Satipaṭṭhāna Sutta teaches us everything. So let's take a look, and aim with this topic is to find out what is Satipaṭṭhāna and why Satipaṭṭhāna needs to be practiced in 4 ways, and why Satipaṭṭhāna is always with an emphasis of kusala, skillful activities. Okay, so there are a bunch of other things we can discuss. So this is the most important sutta in the Majjhima Nikāya in regard to the mindfulness. Is Satipaṭṭhāna mindfulness? What do you think about it? By definition. In Pali we say it's Satipaṭṭhāna. Does mindfulness, the word mindfulness, have
relationship,
this whole meaning?
Yes.
What is Satipaṭṭhāna? We'll start with the Pali, right? So Pali is what Buddha used. So Sati is...
Mindful.
No, Sati is not mind.
Mindful.
No. Sati is... Sati is attention. Sati means the bare attention. Paṭṭhāna means establishment. So establishing the bare attention. But when a teacher or when a book talks about this whole teaching, they add whole mindfulness practice with sati. But basically, sati means bare attention. Sati alone doesn't make sense. We'll see why it doesn't make sense just with sati, attention. There are a bunch of other things. So in this sutta, what we can see is Venerable Ananda recites what happened. On one occasion, the Blessed One, the Buddha, was living in the Kuru country at a town of the Kurus. Kuru is one of the lineages, named Kammasa Dhamma. This is said to be one of the vicinities of the modern Delhi. There he addressed the monks, and then the Buddha then started saying this abstract. What it is? Ekayano ayang bhikkhave maggo sattanang visuddhiya soka pariddavanang samatikkamaya dukkha domanassanang atthangamaya nyayassa adhigamaya nibbanassa satchikkiriyare yadidang chattaru Satipaṭṭhāna. Monks, this is the direct path for the purification of beings, for the surmounting of sorrow and lamentation, for the disappearance of pain and grief, for the attainment of the true way, for the realization of Nibbana, namely the 4 foundations of mindfulness. I mean, Sati has been translated by mindfulness, but the problem is Sati is not mindfulness. But Sati has, when you talk about Sati in a larger, broader context, we can use Sati for mindfulness. But Sati simply means in Pali, pay attention. So what does Buddha say? Buddha says there is the direct path for the purification of beings. So that means there are side tracks. At that time there were many other teachers who were using side tracks. So different other methods. For those who really want to follow the direct path, now in today's Buddhist societies, people use different methods to attain Nibbana. I don't know whether they have an emphasis, they have a true source to follow like that. Is it just a Dhamma talk that you hear from a monk? Is it just a book you get to see from a tertiary level? Is it just a Dhamma talk? Is it just an information from internet? So it is sort of tricky. That's why we had to go back to the original, authentic teachings of the Buddha. That's why Satipaṭṭhāna Sutta is very important. So the direct path for Nibbana is Satipaṭṭhāna. So don't worry if you think you can offer flowers, you can offer food to the monks. Don't think they don't make any sense. They make sense. But if you really think the direct path, what's the direct path to Nibbana? It is the practice of 4 Satipaṭṭhāna, so 4-fold mindfulness. Okay. In this sutta, there are 21 exercises we need to do. We can choose, or we can do in the long run these exercises. 21 exercises are further broken into basic things and supplementary sections of the insight. Let's say, now you know what are these 4 types of mindfulness. Kayanupassana, mindfulness based on the body. Vedananupassana, mindfulness based on the feelings. Chittanupassana, mindfulness based on the thoughts. Dhammanupassana, mindfulness based on the Dhamma. Okay, there. So there are 21 exercises under these 4. At the same time, each exercise has been further explained with supplementary section and how to take it to a deeper level, rather just do and like in today we did breath meditation, but we need to deepen that practice to different levels. That's what we can see with the supplementary sections under this sutta. Okay, now I want to read this section that Buddha talks about how one has to practice one of the aspects of mindfulness. Let's take the first one, mindfulness based on the body. Okay, what are the 4? Here, someone abides contemplating the body as a body, ardent, fully aware and mindful, having put away covetousness and grief for the world. She abides contemplating feelings as feelings, mind as mind objects as mind objects. So that's how one basically practices Satipaṭṭhānas. But there are very special, interesting terms Buddha uses when he talks about each aspect. Contemplating the body as a body, ardent, fully aware and mindful, and having put away covetousness and grief for the world. What is being ardent? The Pali term is atapi. Is anyone familiar with this term, atapi? Atapi means right effort. Okay, so anyone familiar with right effort? Where does it come? It comes under the 8-fold Noble Path. There are 8 components of the Noble Path. So what is right effort? There are 4 types of right efforts in our life. The first one, it's about the kusala and akusala, right? In terms of the effort. If someone can develop the existing kusala, skillful activities one has, if one can put effort to develop the existing skillful activities, that is the first part of the right effort. If someone can reduce the extents of the akusala one already has and put effort to reduce that, that's the second part of the right effort. If someone can put effort not to get influence with the akusalas, unskillful activities that one doesn't have from other people, so that's the third aspect of the right effort. For example, like, let's say I'm not jealous, I'm not that angry, but my friends may be angry, so I don't want to get influence with them. I just want to continue with my patience. The fourth one is to put effort to get influence with the skillful activities others have that I know around me, right? Maybe my friend may have a good virtue that I don't have, say punctuality, people don't come on time, people come late, people come too early, too late, which is not good. It is not good. So that's the start of the mindfulness. I'm not blaming anybody here, but if you come for the meditation, come on time. If you can't make that happen, for whatever the reason, I don't think you can give a good start with mindfulness. Punctuality is a virtue. That's why not everybody can do that, right? But don't come too early, right? You are bugging the other people that the event is being organized. And when you come too late, it's a problem too, so come on time. So anyways, if you allow yourself to get influence with the skillful activities that your friends and other people have, and put effort for that, that's the fourth aspect of right effort. Now you know what are the 4 aspects of right effort. So that's the right effort. Satipaṭṭhāna Sutta talks in here, atapi. So when you practice whatever the anupassana, mindfulness aspects, you need to have right effort, because we need to consistently keep our energy level. Sometimes, I think oftentimes people know this is bad. This is a really bad thing, but they don't summon courage. They don't feel like they want to do this because they are very lazy. When it comes to doing good things, skillful activities, people get lazy. It is a practice. It is something you need to do, right? So that's why we need to consistently maintain, keep our energy level for these 4 aspects, which we call samma vayama, right? Samma vayama is what we call in Pali, right effort. So she abides contemplating the body as a body, atapi, which means maintain right effort. Fully aware in Pali language we say sampajano, atapi sampajano, right? What is sampajano? Anyone familiar with this word, sampajano?
With knowledge.
Sampajani.
Knowledge.
Sampajana, full awareness. Okay, we're going to talk about sampajanya at a later time in the discussion. But anyway, sampajanya basically means having full awareness. That's where we say sati and sampajanya should be practiced simultaneously. Sati is simply the bare attention. I know where I am now. But what I need to do, what I'm supposed to do, what I can do to make this event happier, more positive, that part comes with sampajanya, right? So we need sort of wisdom for our attention. The bare attention has to be liberated with wisdom. Otherwise, it is just the attention, right? There we see how people use that attention with unskillful activities or skillful activities. Some people are very attentive. I'm going to do this bad thing to other people. They have sati, which is called miccha sati, wrong mindfulness. So the Eightfold Noble Path has the wrong side. How do you name them? Samma ditti. That means right view. And miccha ditti, wrong view. Samma sankappa, right thought. Miccha sankappa, wrong thought. Samma ditti, samma sankappa. Samma vacha, right speech. And miccha sankappa, wrong speech. Samma ditti, samma sankappa, samma vacha, samma kammanta, right action. Miccha sankappa, wrong action. Samma ajiva, right living. Miccha ajiva, wrong living. And samma vayama, right effort, that which we just talked about. And miccha vayama is wrong effort, opposite. Samma sati, right mindfulness. Miccha sati, wrong mindfulness. That means people use mindfulness to put people down, to destroy other people. Planning 24/7, 365. How can I do this bad thing? How can I insult someone? How can I do all the bad things? So it's sort of like, there is a mind which is wrong. That's why we say bare attention alone doesn't make sense. That's why we need sampajanya. Sati and sampajanya make sense. Okay? So we will talk about sampajanya in great details later. And mindful satima, vinaya loke abhijja domanasan. This is another very important part. Vinaya loke abhijja domanasan. Now, when we live in the world, in our normal life, what happens to us is we get carried away with covetousness and grief, abhijja and domanasa. In other words, we call envy and grief. Is it something that we always struggle in our life on a day? Yes. We like things that we are not supposed to like sometimes. Maybe it's a waste of time. We get to like a lot of things, people, things, right? And then we're wasting time unnecessarily. And then what happens, based on the repercussions of our liking towards different things, we get frustrated. That is what we call grief. Now for the person who is mindful, who needs to practice the 4 aspects of mindfulness, need to put away those likings, right? That means when you don't think that you can like and then practice Kayanapasana. Because in the Kayanapasana, instructional, advices, we see we need to put away covetousness or I would say greed. Greed towards the worldly things and the sorrow and the grief that could come as a result of the covetousness or envy. So in the same way, she abides contemplating feelings, Vedana, as feelings, ardent, fully aware, mindful, having put away covetousness and grief for the world. Mind as mind objects as mind objects. So this is what the person who wants to practice mindfulness, Satipaṭṭhāna, needs to do with the 4 aspects of Satipaṭṭhāna: Kayanapasana, Vedanapasana, Chittanapasana, Dhammanapasana. So there are rules that you need to think about for you. You need to be ardent, that means atapi, sammavayama, fully aware. You need to practice sampajanya at the same time, and mindful, sati, pay attention. At the same time, you need to put away unnecessary, I would say, covetousness or envy and grief for the world. Okay? That's how you enter into the practice of the 4-fold mindfulness. Okay, so let's take a look at the first aspect, which is called Kayanapasana. What is Kayanapasana in your own terms? What is Kayanapasana?
body.
Okay, so whatever the mindfulness you can attain through contemplating on your body. So we have to take a look at what kind of aspects that we can use, or exercises that I said earlier, that we can practice this first part. Okay. Now the first exercise about mindfulness based on the body is breath meditation. We just did that. But you may wonder how it is supposed to be done. I would tell you. Here is someone going to the forest or to the root of a tree or to an empty hut or place. Sits down, having folded his legs crosswise. That means when you don't fold your legs crosswise, it could be a setback for you, for the breath. So it's good to fold your legs crosswise. Set body erect, upright. Because for the practice of breath meditation, it is very important to keep your back upright. But for a person who is not physically that much comfortable, they can use optional alternative ways. But basically, we encourage everybody to sit upright. And then establish mindfulness in front of us, that person. There's a Pali term for this. Ujung kaya panidhaya parimukha satim upattapetva. Now, there's a huge debate going on about this term. A lot of people, they get stuck with different normal Pali terms. Parimukha satim upattapetva, Bhikkhu translates in my translation. Establish mindfulness in front of me. My whole profile here, right? So like, because I'm dealing with the breath, so the breath area element is always going here and there. So I am focusing, paying attention to the area in front of me, not in front of my mouth or other places. Okay, that's where other people, a lot of people have got mistaken. Establish mindfulness in front of you. That means when you practice the breath meditation, you're going to pay attention to the area in front of you. Okay, not just one area from your body. Okay, not just in front of your mouth. Just okay. Ever mindful. Okay, we're gonna be mindful all the time, and at the same time, breathing mindfully. Breathe out. Okay, so mindfully breathe in and breathe out. We just did that. So mindfully breathe in. So how can you mindfully breathe in and breathe out? Watch your breath. When you watch your breath, you know you are mindful, because you are specifically know what kind of breaths are happening within me. Second, breathing in long, he/she understands I breathe in long. Or breathing out long, he/she understands I breathe out long. Not that you forcibly taking breaths, long breaths. When you feel there's a long breath happening, then you understand. Now there's a long breath happening inside of me. So when you watch your breath, there are different types of breaths happening inside of you. Each time when you see a different variation of your breath, you watch those variations. If you can't watch, then you are not mindful. Okay. At the same time, breathing short, and you know that you breathe in short, at the same time you breathe out short. The next thing is very important. He/she trained thus: I shall breathe in experiencing the whole body, and then breathing in and breathing out, experiencing the whole body. We have a Pali sentence for this. Passang, what's the word? Sabbakaya padisangvedi, asasissamiti. Sabbakaya padisangvedi. That means we all have kaya sankharas. Kaya sankhara means, sankhara has a different lot of meanings, right? Multiple meanings. What is sankhara? What is a sankhara? sankhara. Is this a new word for all of you?
No.
It's not a new word, I guess. Everybody knows. I think when someone dies, monks teach sankharas. I'm telling you, sankhara, the word sankhara has multiple meanings.
Cause and effect. Something that came into because of a cause.
Okay, basically sankhara means anything that is made out of something else. So I am a sankhara. I'm a creation of my mom and dad. And you all are sankharas. This is a sankhara, right? Because it's made out of something. The only thing that is not a sankhara is nibbana, right? It's not made out of anything, right? So that's why it is one of the context, one of the meanings of sankhara. Okay, that's why when Buddha just before Buddha died, Buddha said, "Vaya Dhamma sankhara appamadena sampadena." All the sankharas, formations, are subject to change. So please hurry up, do a lot of good things, good karma, and then attain nibbana. Okay, this is one meaning. The second meaning is sankhara means karma, right? Sankharas. Punyabhi sankhara, apunyabhi sankhara, aninjabhi sankhara. Punyabhi sankhara means good karma, apunyabhi sankhara means bad karma, aninjabhi sankhara means karma that is done by, accumulated by the Brahmas in the Rupavachara and Arupavachara worlds. So we are going one by one, different levels. So there are 31 places a being can be reborn. How many places are there you can be reborn? 31 places. It's good to know, right? 31 places. So there are 6 heavens, I can't say one human world. 6 heavens, human world, 4 hells, 16 material worlds, Brahma worlds, and 4 immaterial Brahma worlds. Okay, so there is the number right? 31? 6 heavens, human world 7, 4 hells, and then 11, and then 16 material worlds, Brahma worlds, then 27, and then 4 immaterial Brahma worlds, 31. Now the thing is, 6 heavens, you already know 6 heavens, and you know the human places, and then 4 hells. In the Buddhist teachings, there are 6 hot hells and 8 hot hells and 8 cold hells. Buddhists know that what are the Sanjiva Kala Sutra, Sanghata, Rauru, Maharauru, Tapa, Pratapa. So there are 8 hot hells. But a lot of people don't know there are 8 cold hells where people are with shivering cold. Right? Don't know where they are located. 8 cold hells in the Buddhist teachings. So if you are sort of thinking about where they are, they might be somewhere in the universe. Okay, so anyways, sankhara. So the meaning is, the second meaning is karma, good karma, bad karma. Okay, and the third meaning for sankhara is different type of processes inside the body. So when we say kaya sankhara, that means breathing in and breathing out, asasa and pasasa. That's where we see sabba kaya patisanvedi asasasa. Now we know that breathing is not good when we are angry, when we are agitated. So that means kaya sankhara, breathing, breaths, whatever the breaths, those in breaths and out breaths. When you are upset about anything, and then what happens? Immediately you can notice there are different things happening inside of us. Right? That's where you can know that my bodily formations are not really working well now. That's why the third step, according to the Kayanupassana breathing meditation, is to experience the in-breaths and out-breaths. In case you notice something going wrong. Right? And the fourth step for the breath meditation is passam bhayam kaya sankhara. Now you know there is something wrong you need to work on, and then you're dealing with your agitated, excited, in breaths and out breaths, and you're going to calm them down. At the same time, if you notice you breathe in, breathe out, you are mindful. This is happening as well. Okay? So basically, mindful breathing in and out, and then mindful long breaths, and mindful short breaths, and then experiencing your bodily sankharas, formations, and then in case you notice something wrong, you're going to calm them down. At each step, you're going to work on your breathing mindfully. Okay? And then Buddha says, this is not enough. Now we go into the supplementary sections of each practice, each exercise. Now this is one exercise. And Buddha says, in this way, she abides contemplating the body as a body internally or externally. What is that? How can you practice breathing meditation for Kayanapasana internally and externally? You can notice what is happening within you, what is happening within somebody else. Like, let's say somebody is angry, and then you see puffing and heaviness of the other person, and you can see what's going on. That person is having long breath, short breath. You can notice. So you're going to practice, you're going to contemplate the body as a body internally about you and your practice, and then externally about other people. Maybe one person, maybe a group of people. Not even that, both internally and externally. Also, different other things. I don't think we have a lot of time to talk about all these, but I would say you're going to see how those different type of breaths happen to different people. Why I got different with my breaths. Why other people got different with their breaths. What were the fundamental causes for those breaths? Was that man angry? Was that woman angry? Was there something really bad going on? So you are questioning, inquiring yourself of the causes of those type of different nature of the breaths. And then what happens? Or else mindfulness that there is a body is simply established in him or her to the extent necessary for the bare knowledge and mindfulness. And she abides independent, not clinging to anything in the world. That's the end of the supplementary section for Kayanapasana, for breath meditation. So the true authentic meditator who wants to practice any of these exercises has no clinging to anything. What is clinging? What's the Pali word for clinging? Upadana. Upadana is the worst thing that one can ever have, right? When you have something that you have been earning in your life, over time you might feel I don't like somebody else to get on, and I really want this person. I'm really into that. So these things we call upadana. It's a more than craving. So there's a craving because of the defilements you get to klesa, defilements, and then what happens? Some people grabs in a really bad way. So Buddha says someone who wants to practice mindfulness based on any aspects, any exercises based on 4 aspects, will not cling to anything. She tries always to reduce hoarding and possessing stuff. In case that person has to possess or hoard things, that person attempts to think, I don't mentally cling to them, even though I have to keep these things. A lot of people in today's world, they can physically get away from things, put away from things, but not mentally. That's the most challenging part. That's where Buddha says meditators have a lot of challenges. So we need to be able to put away things and people mentally. that might be challenging. Challenging things are the best things in the spiritual teachings. How can we do that? We need to understand the true nature of the reality, so that we have enough encouragement and then spaces to understand that, and then to practice, maintain, continue whatever aspects. So now you knew Kayanupasana based on the breath meditation. I won't be discussing all these exercises, just pick few of the exercises that would suit to all of us. The second one is the 4 postures. We call them Iriyapatas. Did we do that section also before this meditation today? Yeah. Yes, we did walk. Okay, that is one of the postures. What did Buddha say? Again, when walking, I understand I am walking. When standing, I understand I am standing. When sitting, I understand I am sitting. When lying down, I understand I am lying down. Or I understand accordingly, however, my body is disposed. Is it an easy task we can do? We can say. Do we always know that we are walking when we walk? So we need to bring our attention to that level. All the time when we walk, we need to be conscious that we are walking. But if you think that you need to be multitasking, you need to sort of get a sense of what you need to do with your walking. But your main emphasis is towards the walking. What about standing time? When you stand and talk to someone, which posture are you more focusing on? Standing or talking? Talking. And you never know you are standing and then talking. That's why Buddha says when you stand, first you need to focus on standing and then the walking. Sorry, the talking. Because that's the main posture. Because talking is not a posture, right? That's the problem. We need to pay attention to the postures first. Talking is a secondary thing. So the walking, standing, sitting, and lying down are the main postures. So if you do other things with the postures, so your main emphasis should be towards the main 4 postures. And then what happens? In this way, contemplating the body as a body, internally, externally, and both internally and externally, and the same thing, supplementary section. Now, how can we do that internally and externally, and both internally and externally? Now, we know how we can do the breath meditation internally, about me, other people. In here, you also notice other people stand, other people walk, other people lie down, other people sit. And you can notice the postures of other people. So when you, because you can't live alone, right? You notice a lot of other people with these postures. So you sort of contemplate what's going on with my walking, with other people walking, but basically my walking, because I'm here. Okay, so that's what you can do, Kayanupasana with the 4 postures, right? So now you know breath meditation, and you can do at different times, but 4 postures are always happening, right? So it is very easy then to practice, but the problem is whether you have that kind of encouragement to practice 4 postures as mindfulness here. Okay, and then Sampajanya, full awareness. You can practice Kayanupasana with breath meditation, 4 postures, and then full awareness, which you call Sampajanya. Here we're going to talk about what is Sampajanya. Okay, so Sampajanya is not that much detail in the Nikaya teachings, the main Nikayas, Digha Majjhima Samyutta Anuttara Kuddaka, but in the commentaries, Sampajanya has been discussed in great detail. Sampajanya basically means kind of a wisdom that you need to bring to your attention. Let's say you know that you're talking, but if you don't know what you're talking, how long you'll talk, and where you're going to stop, and all these things are relevant to sampajanya. So that means it's a big deal in our life. Other people, they know what they know that they talk. Some people even don't know what they do. But some know what they do, but they don't know how to do that without hurting other people, without making akusalas, right? That's what, when people fall prey to akusalas, when they get into talking, they don't know what they need to talk. And at the same time, how I can get away from the four bad speeches. What are the bad speeches? There are four bad words, right, in the Buddhist teachings. What are they? Not lying, musavada, and then? I'm sorry? Not lying, that means musavada. Sampappalapa, not talking behind the back. People talk behind the back, two faces, talk here something and go somewhere else.
Gossiping?
Huh?
Then gossiping?
Yeah, we'll slowly, talk about the list. Musavada is not lying. Sampappalapa is, Musavada, Palusavacha, Sampappalapa. What do we miss in here? Pisunavacha. So, Musavada is not lying. Pisunavacha is not talking behind the back. And Parusavacha is not using hurtful words. A lot of people think it's only the swear words. Not even swear words. Sometimes when you don't know what to talk, you talk all the good things and you hurt the other people. Can that happen?
Yes.
It can happen. So it's basically hurtfulness. If you hurt, you can hurt people with good things, good words. Because that happens when you don't know what to talk. What is the right situation for my good things, right? So when you are complimenting at the wrong place, when you are complimenting too bad, then things can get very hectic. So not talking words that are hurtful to others, good or bad. And then Sampappalapa has two aspects. Not being a gossiper, not being an idle chatter or a gossiper. Who is an idle chatter like? Who is an idle chatter? Someone who just spends time, who just talks just to spend the time. Are there people like that? You know what, now we have to talk something just to spend this hour. Are there people like that? There's one more hour to go, just let's talk something, just random, thing. Idle chatters. Sometimes you talk all the bad things of other people. You never know where you're going to get ended up. Gossipers are even worse. They just gossip, right? So it could be more immoral, unskilled, right? So anyways, then when you talk, let's say there are basic postures, and then we know that based on the basic postures, we are mindful. At the same time, we work with full awareness, which is called sampajanya. Sampajanya means that you have wisdom about what you are involved with. Okay. 4 types of sampajanyas are there: sattaka, sappaya, gochara, and asammoha. You know the purpose. If you know anything is irrelevant to your sati practice, then you are practicing sattaka aspect of sampajanya. Suitability and the domain of what you're going to do. At the same time, non-deluding nature of what you do. So those are the 4 aspects of sampajanya. Sampajanya has a lot of things you can practice in order to be mindful based on Kaya Nupassana. One who acts in full awareness for sampajanya when going forward and returning. Going forward and returning. Who acts in full awareness when looking ahead and looking away. Who acts in full awareness when flexing and extending limbs. Are we mindful when we extend and flex our limbs? That means we don't have sampajanya. So how can we practice mindfulness? Right? So each time when you flex, when you extend, stretch out, if you can know, yes, I now stretch out, flex or extended, then you are mindful. That means it has to be with all your activities. Wearing dresses. Do you know when you wear dresses, that you are wearing dresses? When you eat, when you drink, when you're consuming food, when you're tasting, we need to be mindful that with each activity, sampajanya. Not even that, even in the washrooms, you're going to be mindful. When walking, walking, standing, sitting, falling asleep, waking up, talking. Also when you are keeping silent, when you don't talk to other people, you are being like that with mindfulness. Some people don't talk, not being mindful. So when you don't talk, when you keep silent, you need to be mindful. And then the supplementary section. Now you know the breath meditation and the 4 postures, and then sampajanya activities, normal activities. You can use kayanupasana as for mindfulness. Okay, so I guess this is enough for the kayanupasana. You know, there are different practices that you can use to practice mindfulness based on the body. How about the feelings? The feeling side. There are different types of feelings. Buddha says there are how many types? Sukha Vedana, Dukkha Vedana, Adukkha Sukha Vedana, Samisa Sukha Vedana, Niramisa Sukha Vedana, Samisa Sukha Vedana, Dukkha Vedana, Niramisa Dukkha Vedana, Samisa Adukkha, Niramisa Adukkha. There are 10 types of feelings. How did Buddha ask us to practice mindfulness based on our feelings? When feeling a pleasant feeling, one understands, I feel a pleasant feeling. So as the unpleasant and the neutral feelings. So Samisa Sukha means wordly pleasant feelings. Niramisa Sukha means unwordly pleasant feeling. Okay, so there is happy feeling, but sometimes there could be wordly happy feelings in our normal life. So each time when you have these feelings, you're going to be mindful with whatever with this sort of specific feeling you have. So that is called Vedanānupassana. And then Chittānupassana means there are 16 type of thoughts we may have at different times. Saraga Chitta, Viraga, Vitaraga Chitta. Saraga Chitta means a thought affected with lust. Vitaraga Chitta means a thought unaffected with lust. Sadosa, Vitadosa, a thought affected with hatred or unaffected with hatred. Samoha, a thought affected with ignorance, and Vitamoha, a thought unaffected with ignorance. Sankitta Vikitta, a thought which is not scattered, distracted. A thought, Vikitta means a thought which is already scattered, distracted. Mahaggata Amahaggata, an exalted thought. When you do a lot of good karmas, your thoughts go up. Good thoughts go up. Exalted or unexalted. Sauttara Anuttara. Samahita Asamahita means concentrated thought, not concentrated thought. Vimutta is liberated thought, where you see Arahants or Buddhas, they have this liberated thought or unliberated thought. So each time when you have these different thoughts, if you can understand, this is the thought I am having, and then you are practicing mindfulness based on the thoughts. Okay. The last one is the Dhamma. Dhammanupassana, mind objects. What is Dhamma? Does Dhamma, the word Dhamma, have multiple meanings as well? Yes. There's a PhD written by a scholar, John Ross Carter, about the multiple meanings of the Dhamma. What are the multiple meanings of Dhamma? One very famous meaning is teachings of anybody. Dhamma of Hinduism, we call Dharma in Sanskrit. Dhamma of the Buddha, teachings of the Buddha. That is one meaning. Another meaning is true nature, Dhamma of my body. So all the changes. Yeah, nature. So the nature of, and true nature, not just the nature, true nature, the true nature of our body. True nature of anything, that is called Dhamma as well. So here, Dhammanupassana means when you are focusing on the true nature of different mind objects, then you understand them really good so that you are mindful. So one aspect of Dhammanupassana is looking at the 5 hindrances, Pancha Nivarnas, Kama, Chanda, Vyapada, Tinamidda, Uddhacca, Kucca, Vicikicca. When you really know what they are and how they arise, how they are overcome, then you practice Dhammanupassana. When you have Kama, Chanda, when you are affected with lust, sensual desire, then when you can, if you can understand, they are in me, this sensual desire arose, and then because of the arisen sensual desire, I don't need to develop this, I understand this, I want to overcome myself with sensual desire. So you are working on 5 hindrances based on Dhammanupassana. And then 5 aggregates, 6 bases, and then 7 enlightening factors which are called Bojjhangas, and then the 4 noble truths. You can use all these for practicing Dhammanupassana. I know that the theory is not that interesting, but it's the truth. But at the end, what Buddha says is, you need to understand that really good. So finally, the sutta concludes with a statement of assurance in which the Buddha personally vouches for the effectiveness of the method by declaring the fruits of continued practice to be either arahantship or anagami. What Buddha says, if anyone should develop these 4 foundations of mindfulness, Satipaṭṭhāna, in such a way, for 7 years, one of 2 fruits could be expected for him or her. If you practice Satipatthana for 7 years, that's the maximum time for someone to attain with Nibbana or Anagami. The minimum time is 7 days. If someone can keep practicing 4 aspects of mindfulness, Satipatthanas, you will, if you really can continue with that, there is a possibility of you to attain with Nibbana or Anagami. So then it's proven by the Buddha that this is the direct path. Don't go just zigzag roads. The direct path to Nibbana. Okay, so let's then move on to a Q&A session. Yeah. Any questions? Any questions about the sutta and other things?
But can you talk about the difference between thoughts and feelings?
Okay. That's a really good question. What's the difference between thoughts and feelings? Let me ask you a question. What are the Pali words we use for mind? Vijnana is one of the words. Chitta is another word. And then? Mano. So Mano, Chitta and Vijnana. What is Mano? What is Chitta? What is Vijnana? They are 3 different things. Mano is the mind that we have in one life. have a mind. You have a mind too, right? When you die, that's gone. Chitta, what is chitta? Chitta is what always trouble us. That's why Buddha talks about chitta anupassana, not mano anupassana, chitta anupassana. So we have to always work with thoughts, right? Good, bad thoughts, right? So chitta means thoughts that we struggle with. So when you say you need to take care of your mind, I would say it's good to say you need to protect your mind with thoughts. Because thoughts happen in your mind, right? So mind is a place. Thoughts happen in the mind, in the Buddhist teachings. Right? And what is vijnana? Vijnana is a bigger concept. Vijnana has multiple meanings too.
Consciousness?
Oh yeah, consciousness is what we know
Arising in 6 places.
by basic terms. So basically vijnana means it's a heightened stage of our sense process, right? Let's take one sense faculty, piece of eyes. We have piece of eyes. When our piece of eyes take an object, what object can the piece of eyes take? Images, right? When the eyes take images, what happens? Chakkuncha paticca rupecha uppajjati chakku vijnana. Immediately there arises eye consciousness. When my ears take the object, the right object called the sounds, what happens? Immediately there arises ear consciousness. So there are 6 consciousness types this way, as you said, 6 consciousness types. But there is another consciousness that we always talk is bhavanga vijnana, or in other Buddhist traditions we call it alaya vijnana, stock consciousness. What is this? This is what goes out when we die. But the problem is you can't call it is a permanent entity because it's always changing, always changing. Bhavanga vijnana is a Theravada term, and alaya vijnana is a post-classical term used in the scholars. That means mind, thoughts, and all the other vijnanas arise, stay, and perish inside the stock consciousness. Make sense? That's why when a teacher is to give an essay to the students, you know what, can you write an essay on this topic? Disruptive students should be taught together, agree and or disagree. It's a topic, right? And then what happens? Suppose there are there are good students who can write the essays really good, but even though they score the same mark, but if you can take a look at how they written the essays and their contents, it could be different. Because Buddha says each time when you take a thought, that thought usually goes through the alaya vijnana, stock consciousness, right? Bhavanga vijnana. So they all happen, thoughts and all these things happen within the stock consciousness. So to your question, I would say thoughts are chittas. There are 16 types of chittas that Buddha talks in this sutta, where we have to deal with. Each time when we have these thoughts, we have to be mindful to understand what is this thought. If you think it's an unwholesome thought, we're going to let that go. That's the mindfulness. People who can do it make a mess. For example, when they are not concentrated, they're going to make a really big mess. That is because they can't be mindful. They haven't been mindful. People who can be mindful, they know what to do. It's pretty easy for them to do. This thing came into me, anger, jealousy, or I would say greed. I know this is not good. I don't want to tolerate that. I just want to let it go. So this simple practical methodology doesn't arise in many people. even they know. Okay, so thoughts are what we call chittas, and feeling is a different entry. Like you feel things, right? Your thoughts and feelings, I think there's a huge difference. Things that you can feel, there are different type of feelings in here you just talked about, and thoughts are different, so they work differently. That's why Buddha says you can practice chittanupassana for the thoughts, you can practice vedananupassana for the feelings.
So can we say thoughts occur, feelings happen?
Yeah, they all are sort of tangible things, right? Thoughts.
Okay.
And thoughts occur.
Feelings happen.
Feelings arise, right? Arise. Buddha says feelings arise here.
Arise is here.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, metabolism arise.
I think so. Then you know that this feeling arises in you. Thoughts occur. And some people, they create thoughts too, right? Based on another thought, right? Something bad happens, so that person recreates a different thought. I want to do this and that. Okay?
Bhante, there are 3 types of feelings, no?
Mm-hmm.
Sukha, dukkha.
Yeah, sukha, dukkha, dukkha, sukha, but that is in general. But in the Satipaṭṭhāna Sutta, Buddha talks about a detailed list of the feelings. Buddha talks about sukha vedana, that means pleasant feeling, dukkha vedana, unpleasant feeling, adukka masukha vedana, neutral feeling, samisangva sukhang vedana, niramisangva sukhang vedana. That means worldly pleasant feeling. Sometimes we can feel there arises a happy feeling, but which is 100% worldly. Worldly means like it is not spiritual, but it is good. Sukha vedana, it could be not worldly as well. The happiness an arahant or a spiritual person feel, it could be not a worldly one. That's why it's different from sukha vedana. It's called samisa, worldly pleasant feeling. Unworldly pleasant feeling, there are such feelings too, and dukkha and adukka masukha. So basically Satipaṭṭhāna Sutta details feelings in nine components, so 9 feelings. Basically, when people talk about the feeling, they just say 3 feelings: pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. But the true list is more than that. What do you think? You can give a try. The minimum time is 7 days. The maximum is 7 years. What do you think? Because this is the direct path. You may go on shortcuts, which is not good. The direct path is Satipaṭṭhāna. Only by following these instructions you can attain Nibbana, or at the very least, Anagami. Right? For those who only think keep doing good karma, if they don't want to look at this side, this direct path, they might not attain any of these. It is not just attaining Nibbana, but also a very comfortable, hassle-free life that you can have with mindfulness, right? Okay, now the topic for our today's talk that I said earlier needs to be linked to this whole sutta. The practice of right now Satipaṭṭhāna, that means the whole Satipaṭṭhāna practice, and the consistent development of kusala thoughts go in tandem. What does it mean? Now, when you get to know mindfulness practice, which is done by a lot of people in today's world, some people don't talk about the kusala side of the Satipaṭṭhāna, wholesome side, right? That's why, according to the Buddhist teachings, Buddha says, while you try to stay present, as much as you can, you also need to take that practice to a skillful level. Otherwise, you will never understand these Dhamma teachings. So that's why Buddha says the Satipaṭṭhāna and the kusala practice, they both go in tandem at the same time. You can't separate it. So the whole sutta deals with that aspect. Any other questions?
Wholesome thoughts develop when you practice Satipaṭṭhāna.
When you
Keep
correctly
practicing.
practice Satipatthana, you definitely develop skillful thoughts. If you don't practice mindfulness with Satipaṭṭhāna, you will simply feel that you are with the present moment, but it will never take you to a moral, wholesome side. Right? Any other questions? If there are no questions, we can wrap. Yeah, please.
Question about Dhamma Vipassana.
Mhm.
If Dhamma, like if the definition of Dhamma is true nature of things, and if the true nature of things is the tendency to change, is it about paying attention how things change over the time, or like how thoughts change over the time and feelings change over the time?
Good question. Not just to one thing. Now, when you want to practice Dhamma Anupassana, I would suggest you to practice from the beginning, from the first Anupassana, Kaya, Vedana, Chitta, and then Dhamma. But if you think you can practice all these Anupassanas at the same time, it's also a possibility. So how you can practice Dhamma Anupassana is given with different aspects. What are they? 5 hindrances, 5 aggregates, 6 bases. Let's take one example. 5 hindrances. She understand there is sensual desire, kama chanda in me. There being no sensual desire, kama chanda in me, when you don't have. She understand there is no sensual desire, kama chanda in me, and she understands how there comes to be the arising, the cause of unarisen sensual desire, and how there comes to be the abandoning of arisen sensual desire, and how there comes to be the future non-arising, even the future non-arising of abandoned sensual desire. That means you are fully paying attention to your interaction with the sensual, the 5 aggregates in this case, or with 6 bases, or with 4 noble truths, or other things that we talk about. So each time when you're dealing with one of these for Dhamma Anupassana, you're particularly looking at the true nature of each and everything. Let's say in this case, if it is Kama Chanda, you know how your Kama Chanda arose in you. And if you can deal it, if you could deal it, how it went away. If you make sure it won't happen again, how you make yourself prepare for non-arising the future Kama Chandas. So that's how you prepare yourself for Dhamma Anupassana with 5 hindrances. Or with another thing. So if you can take another example, 5 aggregates. What are the 5 aggregates? Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana. Here one understands such is Rupa, such is origin. Now this is my Rupa, how my Rupa thing came up. This is disappearance, how this body will cease one day. Such is feel, this is my feeling, how my feeling came up, and then how my feeling can go away for different reasons. So you are looking at the true nature of those Dhamma things. That is in regard with 5 aggregates. Let's take one last example. What about the 4 noble truths? Here someone understands as it actually is, this is suffering. She understands as it actually is, this is the origin, this is the cessation, this is the path which leads to the cessation of Nibbana. Suffering. So what you do is, when you take these different aspects for Dhammanupassana, you're going into the true nature of those Dhammic factors. If it was 5 hindrances, then you develop your thinking to understand the true nature of Kamachanda, Vyapada, Thinamidda, Uddhacca, Vicikiccha. It takes time, but that's the practice. Yeah, over time you will get used to it. Because a lot of people, they don't think Kamachanda has a true nature. They take Kamachanda, they get carried away with Kamachanda. They never know where they are heading with Kamachanda. For example, when people dealing with Vyapada, I don't think people know that they have to deal with Vyapada. Vyapada is ill will, right? But if there is someone who wants to practice mindfulness based on Dhammanupassana, in this case with ill will, that person needs to know how this ill will came to me. What am I supposed to do now? How can I prepare myself for the future ill will type of thoughts? So when you look at these different aspects, you are pretty prepared for the Dhammanupassana. You are practicing mindfulness based on Dhammanupassana. Because oftentimes people don't see mind objects as mind objects. They take mind objects, let's say Kamachanda in this case, as not a mind object, as a true real thing. In our normal life, people think subjectively, right? That's what happens to all of us. We think as we are, right? We need to think as it is or as they are, because we don't practice vipassana to separate that thinking. That's why Buddha says Dhamma objects need to be known as Dhamma objects, not with other things. Okay. Looks like there are no more questions, so we're going to wrap this up. So in wrapping this up, in closing this, we're going to share all the good karmas with the departed relatives and the deities. May all the good karmas we've been accumulating so far be shared by all the departed relatives who passed away in the name of all of us. I think there is a sponsor for today's event, I guess. Is there a sponsor or just it's a group thing?
No.
Is it a group thing?
Sankha.
Oh, Sankha. Sankha and Sankha, Ashan and the family. I don't know the names, each one's names. So Karu family, I guess. The whole family. So they are the people who sponsored this event. So may all the departed relatives who passed away in the name of all of you, our family, share in all these good karmas. Not even them, but also all the departed relatives who passed away in the name of all of you who came today, who couldn't come today for different reasons. Share in all these good karmas. May they be happy and peaceful. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let's recite the stanzas. Idam me ñāti nang hutu sukita huntu ñāteyu. Idam me ñāti huntu ñāteyu. Idam me ñāti nang hutu sukita huntu ñāteyu. Also, let's share all the good karmas with the deities who protect and bless all of us. May the deities be happy and peaceful by sharing all these good karmas. May they also bless Karu Bandara family and all of you, including the monks, for good health, long life and all the prosperity. May all the deities also attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavatacha ammehi sampatang punya sampadang sabbe deva sabba sangpatti siddhya. Ittavatacha ammehi sampatang punya sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sangpatti siddhya. Ittavatacha sambatang punya sampadang sabbe satta sabba sangpatti siddhya. Akasattha cha bhummatta deva naga පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරං රක්ඛන්තු ලෝක සාසනං ආකාසට්ඨා ච මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරං රක්ඛන්තු දේශනං ආකාසට්ඨා ච දේවානාගා මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං චිරං රක්ඛන්තු මං පරන්ති. Finally, let's make a great wish. May all the good karmas we've been accumulating so far help all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana as well. Now I will be reciting a couple more stanzas to bless all of you. Please receive the blessings. Abhivadana sirissa nichang vaddha pachayinu chattaro dhamma vaddhanti ayuvannu sukhang balang ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha ato nibbana sampatti iminati saminjatu. Sadhu sadhu sadhu. Tirvan saranai හැමදෙනාටම. May you be blessed with the triple gem, Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha.